Usually I do some intros and plug myself. I'll just be very quick. Please support the channel if you can through channel memberships. I've just put up some content. No, it's for real this time. It's right there. You can see it. I hope, like members only. Anyway, please support that as well as the other channels. Let us dive right into it. So I've been accused of many things. So I don't know. I think I will title this DOA retiring. I mean, DOA says many things, but yes, officially on his channel, on his stream, he was like, guys, I'm out. I'm quittings. Now, quitting can mean many things. Does he mean he's literally he's out of it for sure? I'm skeptical, but he did seem broken up. And although I am very critical of DOA, I will give him this, that his crying actually seemed genuine, whereas Aaron's crying is, well, it's very fake. I'm actually working on something to try to prove it is very fake. But anywho, maybe it's real, but I just find when Aaron does his waterworks a little suspicious. So let me summarize for the new people. I'll be very brief about the last week or so where Street Soleil, who had a very tense relationship with DOA, but friendly for months and months and months, decided to finally push against him, which I have no doubt that Aaron Smith-Levin, a very big YouTuber who initially was backing a lot of these protests in LA, but more recently is criticizing them or ignoring them because they're failing to protect him. So Streets finally decided to become Aaron's friend and declare DOA no longer welcome in the protester movement. And he's received a lot of support. Now, I think it's frankly clear that DOA has victimized a lot of people. And I want to emphasize that I am very late to the party. So you want to check out the Dant, please check out Riddle, DOS, and other channels have been on this for quite a while, documenting DOA's many, and I mean many, faults and flaws. However, I'm a little cynical about where we're going with this. But let me begin with some criticism and praise of DOA. So the criticism, and again, here I'm going to be a little mild because I think it's cynical, but it is a worthy topic. So DOA brought up, which is true, that Aaron brought in some troublesome people. Now, he wasn't wholly responsible, but it is clear he's trying to cover up the Louis Repetto scandal. For those who don't know, Louis has been accused very credibly of many things by many women, and they're still filing police reports. Again, that story has many hands all over it. So I would direct you to Mandy and Shannon, who initially went public and tried to gather a lot of the receipts of the victims. And Aaron, to put it mildly, gave very, and I do mean very, contradictory statements about how he was trying to avoid Louis and was warning people about Louis, but then says it's not his responsibility. So again, I think DOA is being very cynical. However, I can't deny he was supporting people behind the scenes, apparently. Now, not all these people are good people. They have their own flaws, like Pearl Snappy and Liz Ferris. However, you got to give them credit. They did speak out, and they let it be known that, yes, Louis is a very dangerous character. Again, we don't know for sure. At this moment, we have to get some final evidence, but I think it's safe to say that, because I did see some of the evidence, and it's all very alarming, and Aaron's attitude, to put it mildly, was very shocking. I mean, it's not shocking now, but back then it was shocking that he would just be so brutally indifferent after he was going on and on about Danny Masterson and other cover-ups that the church does, but again, when it comes to him, cover-ups don't matter. Criticizing a lot of the ex-Scientology people for not really doing much, doing a lot of symbolic protests, but not going any further. Now, that's kind of the critical and the praise mushed in together. I would say the praise does go for, good or bad, he has been consistent about Aaron's very bad record, right? It's not just inviting these troublesome people, it's the fact that, yeah, he is guilty of, as charged, of many vicious things, and yet, even when it's noted among the ex-Scientologists, they're kind of like, yes, it happened, now we're moving on. And you're like, we're moving on because why? So yeah, there's definitely a double standard at work there. And again, you have to give credit where credit is due for DOA for not being silent about that and saying something's really fishy, that people just will only offer up very tentative criticism, but otherwise they pretty much just try to ignore Aaron if he's being destructive. But when it comes to other people, they want to highlight those problems. So something is not quite right there. But now let me not just squeeze the DOA for all he's worth. I'm going to end with a look at Nora, because definitely Nora's now in a very weird position. And I would criticize DOA very strongly here when he was asked about, well, what's going on with you and Nora? He said, well, guys, that's very private. Me and Nora has always been private. It's a very private thing between me and Nora. Okay, this is a guy who is very open about his criminal record, right? He lets people see and know his dietary habits, invites them into the van. Okay, we're all going to be open about that, but Nora's now private. That sounds very Aaronish. So I don't know. That sounded a little false. But no doubt about it, Nora's in a weird position because she's friends with a lot of these ex-Scientology people still, as well as Lara and Liz Gale and others. And to put it mildly, they're caught between many competing factions in that ex-Scientology world. And Nora, on the record, has, quote, called out the women who failed to call out Aaron, right? Aaron's women defending him in his very ugly ways, they should be called out. And I agree. But then DOA has a long list of female victims too. And Nora just can't seem to remember, doesn't seem to know. But now she's on the record that she saw Confident Chris's video where Confident Chris was very clear that Streets is trying to frame him, right? He's trying to turn him into another DOA, and Confident Chris is like, no. And DOA referenced that very explicitly, saying, it's really sad. It's really sad that even good people like Confident Chris don't feel comfortable around me because I've been labeled. And that's just a very unfair world. Now, DOA, I know, yeah, he's a performance artist. We know he's not hurting as much as he says he is. But I have no doubt there's a little bit of pain going on in him. Now, whether he deserves it, we can speculate and go into that in another video. But how is Nora going to react to all this? Because she has said she's seen the Confident Chris video. So she is aware that what Streets is saying and what Aaron is saying about DOA is not entirely true. So initially last year, right, literally last year, she was still supporting Aaron. Over the summer, to put it mildly, she went through a conversion experience because Aaron decided to push her aside. So now she's one of Aaron's biggest victims / critics, according to her, though I think the victimhood is being exaggerated, but so be it. And she tentatively was starting to say good things about DOA, and now DOA, he's a good guy. He's a nice guy. Oh, there are victims of DOA? Well, you need to talk to DOA about that. You need to handle that privately. Just email them. That's not what I do here on the Nora channel. I don't concentrate on that. I concentrate on Scientology. Oh, and Aarontology. Those are my two things, Aarontology and Scientology. DOA-tology, I don't really handle that. That's been her party official propaganda line. Now, with Scotty technically retiring, I'm sure he hasn't really retired, but anyway, he did say he was taking a step back. Where is Nora going to go? Is she going to stay with DOA, or is she going to backstab him? She's already backstabbing Tommy Scoville and saying, guys, I am so shocked. Mr. Scoville, the criminality, I didn't know. I had no clue until Barb. Yeah, don't believe Nora a single second, which is, I just found out, guys. This is a woman who actively tries to spy on people and brags. Guys, I have people everywhere. Don't worry, they're gathering information. So she didn't know about DOA's victims. She referenced those victims, or was very implicit about this, during their very long debate over the summer, right, that just passed months ago. She had a pretty good memory back then. So what's going to happen? I don't know, but I don't want to be Nora at this moment. She's been riding high, making a lot of money off of Gentleman's Scavenge and Aaron's misery. I don't know. I would predict and guess she's going to stick to DOA just a little bit longer, but I'm sure she's going to start to be like, guys, I'm rethinking my support. Some of my women's don't like DOA, and I have to go where the women's and the money go. Like Reese, / Marissa. She has to go where they go. So, whatever you want to say about Nora, she's always a coward. So if the opposition is too strong against DOA, yeah, she'll fold. However, if the DOA forces are divided, as I think they are, they're not as unified as people think. I don't know. Nora may stick it out a little longer, but we'll have to wait and see. It's wherever the super chats go. So we'll see if the Nora audience is ready to say goodbye to DOA. That we may have to find out tomorrow together for once. Unlike Nora, who's, I just found out. I'm sure you did, Nora. I'm sure you did.